Hey everyone. Today I'm going to show you how I chop up my 3D models and get them ready for a 3D print. Um, and this is a more complex model, I think. And this one, I'll post the artist's name. He did a great job. This is definitely one of my more favorite 3D prints that I have printed small before, but I'm going to try to print it much larger now. So that's what the reason for me chopping it up. And so basically I'm going to get to, if you're not familiar with Blender, I'm just in the viewport right now on object mode. I just press the X here, get to side view. You can see some of my measurements here, but if you press this measure button, you can just drag, and you basically want to give some kind of measurement here. Can't really see that. I'm just trying again here. Get an ideal kind of measurement, and that's about 600 meters. And again, the units might be a little bit off. This might be 600 meters, but I think this is roughly actually like 600 um, millimeters, centimeters. I forget, but it's roughly about 2 feet tall. This model, and so just generally get an idea of how large you want that to be, and how large you want your model to be, and you can go to your object. And I'm no pro at Blender either, but all I did was scale up this model about 4 times its size to get the general idea of like how large I want this piece to be. And what's going to happen is you can see this collection here if I turn on the cuts of how I cut up this model. You can see cuts here, in a few different places. So to kind of better fit my printer. So I do have a Ender 3. Max size it prints is about 250 millimeters, and I think I currently only print about up to like 200. It's like the max model size here. So the easiest thing to do is to start with like simple blocks. So in your model mode, I'm just going to the side view. I want to find like where I can chop this up. So I want to go add cube, and then you're going to scale this up. You can use the scale button here to kind of scale this up, kind of get you the right size you need. Or once you have a general idea, you can also go to edit mode, which I like to do. We're going to be doing this a lot. You select your vertices here, and now you can move these. Kind of give you, oh, I forgot. And it's also very important. I always use toggle X-ray mode. This allows you to select through to the other side, so that you're not just grabbing the front or the camera facing side. Okay, you're going to move these things around like this. You're going to kind of get the idea of how tall you want your model to be. Again, you can use this measure tool to get the idea that you want. Hey, I want 200 millimeters of a cut, and so you can just drag this up, and we can see where that sits. And I try to zero out my character too, so try to do that. If you don't know how to do that, I can post notes on it. So I already have my blocks, and we can kind of go over them here. I'm going to delete this cube. And so I basically did that, and you just want to have um, wherever you want to cut. I like cutting things flat. Uh, it gives a cleaner print, so I don't have to build support. And I always try to get um, what size do I want. Like I said, here's that measurement here of about what is it, 198 here. So That's around 200. I don't want to print higher than that. And once you have all your blocks in place, you can see this is a more complex model. I have two additional blocks here. One, two, if I can click it. The reason for this is the hands. I want the hands to print flat instead of building all this support underneath. I can separate them out, and let's turn on toggle mode again. You can see where that they're going to get cut right there, and so I can print the hands upwards along their y-axis, and so it comes out with a better print. And it's all about looking at your 3D model and trying to come up with the best way to print it. Again, trying to reduce the amount of support as well, and also without trying to print something too large. And this just comes down to your model, the complexity of the model, how big your printer is, and how much material do you have, save on time and material. So the way I've cut this piece up, it's roughly going to be around like 100 hours of print time, and it's like a 2 foot size print now. So everything's based on that. I haven't fully printed this yet, so I'll post results on my Instagram or somewhere when I do finish the print. But the next thing is what I like to do is duplicate this model. You can go and hit copy paste. You'll create a new one. And so we're just going to go over the legs first. And I'm just going to do a couple examples of this. So I'm going to say legs. So I duplicate my object. I always keep my original. And you're going to grab this legs. And you're going to go, you have your properties panel here. You're going to go to the modifiers, this little wrench tool, hit add modifier Boolean. And now it's going to ask you, hey, what do you need to do? So difference will remove the object from, so for this example, we have the 3D model that we want to print, and we have our cubes, right? So we want to use the difference of the added cube to be removed from the 3D model, right? That would basically chop off the leg. Well, we don't want that. A union would add it, right? That just adds these two objects together. So adding the cube to the 3D model. And intersect actually gets where they're connected, right? That's what we want. We want to say, well, remove the rest of the model from the legs, the leg cubes, right? And so you get this drop down, you have object, and it is not scrolling down. Why not? Give it a second. My computer is also not the best computer. I do recommend a good CPU and at least 16 gigs, 32 gigs of RAM. I actually say recommend at least 24 gigs of RAM. All right, so leg cubes. I'm gonna click that and give it a minute. Okay, cool. So now you see the legs have been chopped up. Perfect, right? So what I'm gonna do too, let's go ahead and hide our other objects. So now I've got two objects here. I'm gonna duplicate this, copy and paste. And I forget to save, like if you're having issues with processing, make sure that you apply your booleans. Okay, once you're happy with what you have, hit apply, and this is going to save on processing, because if you don't hit apply, it's going to be continually processing all those changes, that you can like undo. So here you have that duplicate, and so we're going to say this is going to be the left leg. And I forget, I'm going to scratch this. Ignore what I said. You don't have to duplicate this. So we're going to say left leg. We're going to hit edit mode, and we're going to select our vertices here. You're going to hit the selection tool. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Make sure that you do have x-ray mode on, and you're going to just highlight all this. Okay, you can press the plus sign to add, control to remove, and those should be default settings. But if you're a Blender user, you may have custom settings. So whatever you use to add, you double check the model, make sure everything's selected. Once you do, you're going to right click and hit separate selection. This is going to create a new object. So now you have a right leg. And once you do that, you're going to go down to File, Export STL. These are your 3D print files that will be added to your printer, your slicing tool. And you're going to make sure, give it a name. You can say, hey, this is going to be the right leg. And make sure you select selection only. So that's going to ensure that not all your other objects in the scene will get exported with it, only the selected object. And you'll press Export STL. Okay. And that's pretty much it. I'll show what it looks like in the 3D print as well. And if you have any questions, let me know. You might be asking why am I leaving space? Why am I not creating all these? So the way, I think this is like a quick and easy way to cut up prints and everything, is creating cubes. There are connections I forgot to mention that I've added throughout here that help align things up. Again, these are meant to, you can attach this to a collection and then say all these connections. And again, it's a collection, which is just a group in Blender. Say all these connections should be removed from the model, or you want, place all those around. You can see these little cubes here, and here in the hands and the wrists, so that when you're 3D printing, you can know where to place them. You know where those connections are, they'll better line up instead of trying to place everything by eye. But the reason why I kind of alternate is that this piece is going to be cut. I don't need to measure. I don't need to add another cube here and cut this piece, because this will be cut from the model. And when I choose those different modifiers, like I said, you got to chop using difference to remove these objects. You'll also remove the top. And again, going through those selections, saying, hey, you'll be able to highlight the head and such, highlight the chain, and make those as separate objects. So I find this to be the really fast way to chop up a 3D model and get it ready for 3D printing. I hope all that makes sense. Again, every model has its own complexities. When you start 3D printing, figuring out how best to 3D print your models, how you should do it, adding additional cuts so that you save on print time. Because the biggest worry is, you have a 24-hour print and it messes up 20 hours in, So reducing that print time or having like a lot of confidence in your 3D printer is going to come in handy. So I hope everyone enjoys this quick video. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, you can always reach out on YouTube here or join my Discord. And thanks for watching.